Well, hey sweet people, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome especially. I'm Sally and I'm so glad that you've stopped by. If you can't already tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite, more indulgent coffee recipes that will make you feel like you are at a fancy coffee shop right in your own home. Now, generally speaking, I am a purist when it comes to my coffee. Most days I prefer just a plain latte, unsweetened, or black coffee, something like pour over, in which case usually I'll have it just black, or maybe I'll add a little bit of heavy cream. And I am very partial to heavy cream over half and half. I feel like half and half just dilutes it and it drives me crazy. But okay, let me get off my soapbox. That being said, there are times, especially like more in the afternoons, where I want to have a more fun coffee. And oftentimes if you go to a coffee shop, first of all, things are gonna be more expensive. Nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely one to go to coffee shops. I think it is worth it for the ambiance and the experience. But especially if I get like flavored drinks there, I tend to be disappointed. Reason being, oftentimes they're gonna be too sweet, or if they're made with syrups, their syrups very rarely are homemade, and at best they have like artificial or natural flavors in them. At worst, they might have color added, they might have other preservatives in them, and again, nothing wrong with having this every once in a while, but it's just stuff I'd prefer not to be putting in my body. And it's awesome that I can make some drinks that are more to my taste at home. So here are 3 drinks that I've really been loving lately. I am sharing a chocolate covered orange mocha. That's what I have right here. I'm gonna be sharing a cardamom ginger iced americano. You can do this hot or iced. And then lastly, I'm actually sharing one of the recipes that is in my ebook, Basics, a pro-metabolic starter guide, if you wanna check that out. There are over 20 recipes of all different kinds in there showing you how to live a really well-nourished and delicious life. And this is just one of my favorite recipes that I wanted to share with you. It's my cinnamon sundae blended coffee. So without further ado, let's get into it.
We are starting out by making our chocolate covered orange mocha, and you're going to start off by making a simple syrup here. So you're going to mix equal parts water and sugar over about medium heat on the stove. This recipe is a 1/2 cup sugar and a 1/2 cup water. It's a pretty small batch, so if you want more to have on hand, feel free to double it, but you're going to let that start melting down. And meanwhile, you're going to peel 1 orange. I find that a potato peeler works best for this. You may also, use a zester. You'd have to drain it a little bit more finely, but you may get even more flavor out that way. So I'm just adding that into my simple syrup as the sugar continues to melt. And I'm gonna do my best here to kind of muddle the orange peel into the mixture. This admittedly isn't the best device for it, but the more muddling you can do, the more flavor you're gonna extract. You see, we brought it to a simmer. I let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And now I'm going to pour all of it into a jar. Now for the sake of this video, I went ahead and used the syrup, but I would recommend letting it sit in the fridge for at least 24 hours to continue to develop flavor. So our syrup's ready. Now I'm going to cut off a little piece of dark chocolate. This is 72% dark chocolate from Trader Joe's. I will tell you, these chunks are a little big because these chunks are hard to melt because they are a little bit big. So if you have something that's thinner, that's probably gonna work a little bit better. But I went ahead and dropped it into the bottom of my coffee mug, and now I am preparing my coffee for extraction. So all of these recipes do use an espresso maker, but you could definitely use a mocha pot or just some very strong coffee if that's what you have. But I find that, the true espresso really does work best, if I'm just being honest with you. So I mix the chocolate with the espresso, and I'm adding 20 grams of my orange syrup. I didn't want this to be too sweet, plus I already had the chocolate in it, so that's why I went with 20 grams. You're going to stir this in, and then you're going to go ahead and steam your milk. So I use raw milk and steam it till it is nice and creamy and silky, as they say. And now I'm just pouring it on top. Didn't manage to get any successful latte art here, but the end result was indeed very, very tasty, and it would look beautiful with a little sprinkle of cacao powder or something like that on top. So next up, we are making our ginger cardamom iced americano. Syrup process starts exactly the same way as that of the orange syrup. Use a 1/2 cup sugar, a 1/2 cup water. You're putting it on the stove over medium heat and starting to melt it down and bring it to a simmer. Now you want about a 1/2 inch piece of ginger. I didn't use this whole thing. I used about half of it. And you're going to peel the skin off it, the beige colored part, and then you're going to continue using your peeler to get thin strips of the rest of that 1/2 inch piece. Now we have our cardamom. I ended up using about 4 pods here, and that was the perfect amount. I highly recommend getting the pods and doing the work of crushing the seeds down themselves because you're going to get way more flavor out of it this way. So put it in my mortar and pestle. You could absolutely use a spice grinder as well. Smashed it to bits, and then I added it to my simple syrup. This I simmered for a little bit less time. It was about 10 minutes, and then I just added it to a jar, and it was ready to use right away. The flavor does develop, but it is quite strong off the stove. The ginger is actually the more subtle flavor, interestingly, in this combination, but overall, I just thought it turned out so well. So I love fun ice for this drink. I grabbed a big circular or spherical ice cube and popped it into a cute little glass. I am starting off, or actually we'll get there in a second. I have my espresso, and I'm going to add to my espresso about 30 grams now of this syrup. We're going to mix that in really well. And now we're starting off by adding our water over our ice. If it's an iced Americano, I think it needs to be water and then espresso. But if it's hot, I think it has to be the other way around. Let me know what you think. So pour over your espresso mixture, and then I'm adding heavy cream. Milk is also great, and just giving it a stir. This was absolutely delicious. And then I used that same syrup in a raw egg yolk latte a few days later, and it was equally phenomenal, if not better, just because I'm a little partial to hot drinks. Okay, last one. This is the cinnamon sundae blended coffee that I have been telling you guys about. So you're going to start off by adding some ice. I say just like a large handful to your blender. You're going to go ahead and pull your espresso, same process we've done before. You can also use about 2 ounces of very strong coffee, or of course you can use that mocha pot. Once it extracts, you're going to pour that over the ice, and we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. So according to my recipe, use a tablespoon of maple syrup. I didn't have maple syrup today, so I used honey. It was still good, but I will say it is much better with maple syrup. You're going to use 1/3 cup, roughly, of coconut water. You're going to add about 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. You're going to add some cinnamon. You're going to add a generous pinch of salt. And then you also add some vanilla extract, which I forgot to show you while I was filming. A great add-in is going to be some grass-fed or pasture-raised collagen if you want to add a little bit of protein to it. And you'll see this is a really mineral-dense coffee drink, kind of adrenal cocktail inspired, but super yummy. I hope y'all enjoy. And let me know what your favorite coffee ideas at home are.
Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. Let me know down in the comments which is your favorite and what other fancy coffees will say you yourself like to make at home. Until next time, bye y'all.